Hello, my name is Isabella Perez, Recreation Leader for the City of Socorro. Thank you for joining today's meeting. Before the meeting begins, we would like to remind our guests to remove all hats and silence all electronic devices. No destructive behavior or outbursts will be tolerated, and violators are subject to ejection and possible prosecution.
Hola, mi nombre es Judy Rodríguez, secretaria de Planificación de la Ciudad de Socorro. Gracias por participar en la reunión de hoy. Antes de que comience la reunión, nos gustaría recordarles a nuestros invitados favor de quitarse los sombreros y silenciar todos los dispositivos electrónicos. No se tolerará ningún comportamiento perturbador ni exabrupto y los infractores estarán sujetos a expulsión y posible procesamiento.
It is 6:08 p.m. This meeting is called to order. Item number 2, Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honoring the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. You may now be seated.
I have them right here. Item number 3, Establishment of Quorum.
Ruben Reyes.
Here.
Cesar Nevares.
Here.
Alejandro Garcia is absent. Mayor Ivy Avalos.
Here.
Rudy Cruz.
Present.
And Ivan Colombia Lobos. Here. Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Item number 4, Public Comment.
Mayor, we have no speakers for public comment.
Thank you. Moving on to presentations, item number 5, recognition of the Socorro High School athletes and coaches for their hard work and dedication. Mr. Cruz, would you like to introduce?
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council, Mayor, and those in attendance. I wanted to present this item to recognize the Socorro High School athletes for their hard work and dedication, along with the coaches. Our track team not only represents the school of Socorro High School, but they also represent our community. As an alumni from Socorro High School, there's plenty of us here at the table and staff members who also graduated from Socorro. A panzazos, but we graduated. And
Excuse me.
but it's important. It's important to acknowledge the young athletes because it requires a lot of discipline and a special person to work out. And I've seen you guys running through the fields here, and it's very rewarding to see that you all wear the colors of the school with pride, and you guys have kept the tradition alive. So at this time, we do want to recognize and acknowledge you. Mayor Alvalos is going to present some certificates to you all. But what I do want to say is I'm going to mention some names, and when I finish calling them out, I'd like for the entire team to come up here and stand here so that we can take a group photo, and your parents can also take a photo of you all. And I want to start off by acknowledging the cross-country freshman boys who were the 2023-2024 freshman 1-6A district champions. And the names of those individuals are Jorge Mendez, Jeshua Jurado, Aiden Vega, Santiago Conde, Enrique Payan, and Axel Hinojosa. The accomplishments for track and field, we have freshman Addie Carbone, who was the girls' freshman District 1-6A champion in the 800-meter run. Also, for setting a school record in the 400-meter relay and area qualifiers, setting a record with 50.51 seconds. I tried running it the other day, and I clocked in at 1:30. And we have Samira Avila, Emily Zarate, Yara Reyes, Natalie Corral, Elizabeth Gonzalez. The 100-meter bronze medal area qualifier, Natalie Corral, with the time of 12.81. And we have Roman Alvarado, discus 140 feet, 7 inches. We have Samira Avila, triple jump district champion with 36 feet, 6 inches, areas and regional qualifiers. Again, Coach Avalos and Coach Mena, we owe it to you all as well for working with our kids here, and we appreciate you guys being good community partners. So at this time, if we can invite the track team from Socorro High School to come up here and take a photograph with the council, we greatly appreciate that, and thank you all for your hard work and effort.
Okay, I'm going to call your name, and would you please step forward when I call your name to receive this certificate of achievement? Axel Hinojosa. Santiago Conde. Enrique Payán. Aiden Vega. Joshua Jurado.
You want us to stand here, to stay here?
Yeah, you guys can stand up here and stay here. We paid a lot of money for this.
Jorge Méndez. Addie Carbone. Natalie Corral. Elizabeth Gonzalez. Román Alvarado. Yara Reyes. Samira Avila. Emily Zarate.
Olivia Navarro. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Ms. Mayor, City Councilman, thank you for having us today. Thank you for giving us the opportunity. Councilman Cruz, thank you for the invite. I appreciate it. Thank you for acknowledging the hard work that these young men and women put in. And as you said, it truly is, it takes a special person to get up and do what we ask of them, both on the cross-country and track level. It takes a lot of discipline, a lot of hard work, so thank you. I did want to say we do have a young man here, Mr. Jaden Kearney. I think he's in the back over here. He was part of our cross-country team as well, and as a freshman, he was one of our stars on the varsity for 100 as well, and 4x1, 4x2 relays. But We're looking forward to going in next year and hopefully making some noise, and on the cross-country level, getting up to regionals. We have a couple of our older kids here as well. So again, thank you for supporting our kids. It really means a lot to acknowledge them and to know that the city of Socorro is behind them. And I can tell you with 100%, these kids are going to do their absolute best to represent everyone here and to do well for the city.
Thank you.
This is Coach Mena.
First and foremost, I want to thank you from the bottom of our heart for supporting our athletes. Coach Avalos and I have been at Socorro for around the same time. I've been there for 13 years. I was an assistant for 11 years, and I was blessed and given the opportunity to take over the program this past year. I love it. It's everything that I want to do. My wife is a Socorro High School alum. My suegros live in Campestre, so I'm invested here. It's not just a job to me. It's something that I come every day and I put forth the best effort because it's for them. Everything we do is for them. I catch a lot of heat because I don't post a lot of stuff on social media because I don't want to take any glory away from the kids. It's all about them because ultimately that's what it's all about. But we've established this relationship, and we're very grateful for having us, and we look forward to great opportunities with the city, with the high school, whatever it may be with our athletic department, and we're just so thankful. And our athletes, the parents, the coaches, we just thank you from the bottom of our hearts. May God bless you all and continue having a great summer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's let them go out.
We need to do a certificate of appreciation. Because they didn't put him on the email. Mira, levanta un email de Coach Avalos, ¿verdad? Porque pobrecitas.
Moving on, item number 6, presentation by Ascendo Strategies on the City of Socorro Economic Recovery Strategic Plan.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Alejandra Valadez, City Development Director. We have a presentation for you, and then later on an action item for adoption of the plan. As you know, the city has been working on this economic recovery strategic plan over the past 9 months. This strategic plan was really an opportunity brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. This is a project that is funded through ARPA dollars, and it represents one of the first economic development policy plans that has been presented and developed for the unique needs of the Socorro community. This is a combined and refined economic development vision that was put together through a lot of community feedback, surveys, stakeholder meetings with elected officials, with the community. So we're very excited to present that to you today. We do have Dr. Griselda Martinez, who is the lead at Ascendo Strategies, the consultant firm that put together the plan for us. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. There is an adoption item right after this presentation.
Good evening, everyone. It is my pleasure and honor to be back to present this final product before you, and I'm open for any questions and comments you may have on it. As Alejandra said, this has been a 9-month process, and one of the very important pieces in this moment is that my team and I are really thankful for giving us the opportunity to craft this very first economic development strategy that you're turning the challenges that came with COVID-19 into an opportunity for an even better future for the city of Socorro. So A special thank you for Alejandra Valadez and Jose Quiñones because they were with us throughout the whole process, giving us information, answering questions, and this was a pretty intense process. So thank you both, as well as City Council members, City Manager, and the community who participated in this process. Next, please. Thank you, sir. This one. So the first step was, all right. So this is the outline that I'm going to be covering today for purposes of time. I'm going to just have a very high-level presentation. But the first, I'm sorry. All right. The first step was to really understand the overarching vision that you all had for this community. And so from a lot of discussion, conversations, and research, these were the 3 items that we summarized the goals of this recovery plan. The first one is to catalyze a stronger, more prosperous, and a diversified economy for this community, to foster inclusive economic developments, recognizing the diversity of the community members in Socorro. And the third one is to capitalize on cultural and historical assets for sustainable growth. We know that growth can happen in a lot of different ways, but it was a clear message from community members and city council members and staff that sustainability was definitely something key to keep in mind. So this is the summary that captures what I presented the previous time I was here with you, but I'm just presenting it here to remind us that this included focus groups, visioning exercises, conversation one-on-one with city council members, surveys, English and Spanish, to business owners and general community members. From all of those, in parallel, we compiled a comprehensive profile of the community that included not only the socioeconomics, but also the demographics, understanding who lives in this community, what do they do. Also from this step, we talked about what are the opportunities in terms of the targeted industries to focus the energy for economic development. We covered occupations, types of occupations, including evaluation of the occupations in consideration of living wages, which was also part of the importance to evaluate the community as a whole. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats were also evaluated, and overall economic conditions for the city. All of this information is in the appendix of the strategic plan, labeled as community profile for you to consider reviewing. 2 aspects were of special interest for for the city and for us in this plan. The first one was entrepreneurship, and this entrepreneurship, and the second one was retail. These 2 items really capture a much deeper evaluation of the opportunities and challenges and how to turn challenges into opportunities and leverage on the assets that this community already has. So one of the pieces was understanding the entrepreneurial ecosystem, what assets already are in existence, what assets are missing to support the entrepreneurial community, existing and aspiring owners. Also, this leverage on the feasibility analysis that was done back in 2021. And it was very important to continue to keep in mind the business incubator that this community has been rooting for and planning for a couple of years now. With that, it was attached the business incubator management and operations plan, which went into a little bit more detail of what this business incubator looks like, how to select participants, what type of services they are going to be able to access, and overall opportunities for new and existing business owners. For retail, this is a comprehensive analysis considering different aspects. The first one was what is the characteristics of the businesses within the city and also of the customers of the community. Peer comparison, this was an opportunity for us to compare City of Socorro to communities that look very similar, that were along the border, that were about the same size, and see what opportunities they're leveraging upon and what challenges they face. And this we utilize as best practices to consider what to recommend for the City of Socorro. Another key piece to this retail component was to understand what products and services were being demanded by the members of this community that they could not find locally, and so therefore they were going outside. They are going outside to fulfill those needs of products and services. So that was a huge opportunity to recapture the monies to stay in the community. On the other side, we wanted to understand what services and goods were already provided in Socorro that were capturing money from the outside, and how could we establish strategies that you could continue to capture even more monies coming from the outside. Also, we went into a lot of detail understanding the 4 primary commercial corridors in your city, which is Hueco Tanks, Alameda, Horizon, and Socorro Road. So these are the top 6 industries that we recommend for them to be priority for the next 5 years, although there were other additional industries that had opportunities. We saw that focusing on these top 6 provided the biggest opportunity given the consideration of evaluation. For retail, there were a lot of industries that had a lot of money flowing out of the community, and there were some industries that were given an excess supply of goods and services locally, more than what it was demanded. So what we did was, based on the current leakage, which is the money flowing out of the community, based on the future leakage, based on the 5-year projection, and the potential for the creation of new businesses, we selected the top 3 recommendations. The first one being groceries, which also addresses one of the issues that City of Socorro has, which is food deserts, the lack of access to fresh and local foods. So this was an opportunity to not only recapture money from money being spent outside, but also to solve that big issue and provide a better quality of life for the residents. The second one is restaurants, and the City of Socorro has a high level of specialization in Mexican restaurants. So one of the recommendations is to leverage upon that and expand upon other different types of foods. And lastly, clothing stores, which ties back to the tourism industry, as a component to support that attractiveness of the city. So another key element, as Alejandra mentioned, was there is the opportunity right now to utilize available funds on ARPA. And so a top priority from the team was for us to evaluate from all the possibilities what were the top 3 opportunities for the highest impact to utilize the existing funds available. So from the overall evaluation, these are the top 3, which would support existing businesses, would leverage upon the commercial corridors, and also would allow for existing jobs that are in high demand to be filled up with community members. So matching the opportunity with the need and leveraging upon existing partnerships here. And the last one, which is promoting heritage and cultural tourism, that already takes place, but just being more intentional and adding resources to those opportunities. So they were a total of 32 priority areas that we recommended in the strategies. Each strategy includes a number of action items that are very specific for implementation. They were broken into short, medium, and long term. For matter of time, I am not going to go through all of them, but the short term really leverages upon supporting existing and future business owners, including the creation of an ambassador program that will support not only promoting the opportunities, but also involving people from the community to help us bring the message of opportunities to other business owners. Increase access to capital, provide financial literacy training for not only current business owners, but also future, leveraging upon the mission, trail and the mission as a whole. And one of the possibilities was to position Socorro as the heart of the mission trail. And just continue to enrich the entrepreneurial environment. For year 2, one of the key priorities is to launch the Rio Vista Business Incubator, and this is a more intense investment of monies and resources, so that's why the item is in medium term, although a lot of the pieces are already in motion to make this happen, but just considering time. Establishing a revolving loan fund to continue to give access to businesses, strengthen the historic preservation, the cultural and heritage tourism was a big piece to the community input, and so that's also a piece that is highlighted throughout these priority areas. And long-term priority also includes, similar to what you did just now, supporting the youth. This also is supporting youth programming for financial literacy and also for entrepreneurial training, because we don't only want to help the current generation, but also those that come behind. With that, I am here for any questions that you may have. Again, it's been a pleasure working with you all, and I'm excited to see this plan put into implementation.
Questions, comments? No, thank you very much. Mr. Nevares?
Mayor, at this time, I would like to make a motion to move up items 30 and 34.
Second.
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia is absent. Rudy Cruz.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Moving on to Planning and Zoning Department, item number 30, discussion and action to approve an event permit for the Fiesta de San Miguel 2024 at La Purísima Church at 328 South Nevares Road for September 27th through 29th, 2024, and to waive the event fee. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Item number 30, Fiesta event permit and fee waiver for the Fiesta de San Miguel 2024 La Purísima Church. The event is going to be held September the 27th, 28th, and 29th at the La Purísima Church. Apologies for the mistaken title on the slide, but this is to be held at La Purísima Church, 328 South Nevares Road. Planning and zoning staff recommends approval of the request. Again, the event is for a festival to be held at the church grounds, and they are also requesting a waiver of the event fees. With that, staff can answer any questions.
Mr. Cruz?
Before the gorditas are sold, we're gonna have to provide quality control. The table right here before they get sold. No, just all jokes aside, I think that the tradition has gone on for several years, but this council does support the church, La Purísima, and it's actually our slogan when you visit our website. Socorro is a city with a mission, and I think that we owe it to the church to provide that support. So thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia is absent. Rudy Cruz.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Moving on to Mayor and Council, item 34, discussion and action to approve hosting of the Binational History Conference, August 24th, 2024. I believe we have Mr. Al Borrego here to introduce.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council. Thanks for having me here again, and everybody else. And I'm with the Cultural Heritage Society of the Camino Real de Tierra Adentro. I really loved your presentation. It's right up our alley. I'm here just to answer any questions you might have about the conference. We're going to hold it at Hacienda Apodaca. There, the old Moonlight Adobe, and now it's just the Adobe. And that's the plan, to have it there, and hopefully the city of Socorro can host part of it. It's actually a 5-day event. It'll start on August the 21st in Ciudad Juarez. It's always been a binational history conference, but this year it's turned into an international because we're bringing people from Europe for this one. So we're spending the first 2.5 days in Juarez and actually at the National Park Service, and then the rest of the event will be here in Socorro.
Does anybody have any questions, comments at the moment? Okay, Mr. Cruz?
So it's a 5-day event, and the first 2 days are going to be held in Juarez. What days are those going to be? Are they going to be during the week or on a weekend?
It starts on Wednesday, and the weekend belongs to us.
Okay, so Saturday, Sunday, it'll be in the States.
Friday after 12, everybody, Friday after 12, everybody moves over here to this side, and we do Friday afternoon, Saturday, and Sunday here. We do have a little part that we're bringing from Juarez to the National Park Service, to the Chamizal, that we'll be doing on Thursday afternoon at 4 p.m. We'll be doing a panel there. We're working on the UNESCO World Heritage designation, so that committee will speak about that, and we'll have a meeting as well about adding that to the agenda.
And what date do you foresee the event being held in Socorro?
All three days, the Friday afternoon, Saturday, and Sunday.
It'll be Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yes. Yeah, we do have a tour planned for the Mission Trail, which will be Saturday afternoon. It'll start here and end here.
And I know that in the past it's been kind of like an educational series that everybody has sat through, and it also involves like the culture, the arts, and then the food and stuff like that. But I think that the main component of any main event, especially one being held in our city with taxpayer dollars, is going to be the financial contribution that needs to be made. I think that I think the amount that's been posted on the agenda is a little, not excessive, but I think that we can make something work with a lot less. And I don't know if we need to take the vote today in the amount for something like this, or it's something that the council would like to discuss, because it's a big event, and at the same time I think that it's right around the corner. It's really we're pushing the schedule there. And then we also have some events scheduled as well as a city. We have some events coming up too, that we also have to start planning for, and also setting aside some funding. But
Right, so I guess I could take that question. So what is it that you're seeing as the main component or the price tag?
I'm going off of what the
Right,
agenda
so
item
the backup-
states here.
The
It's-
backup didn't change because it was postponed, so we had to post it the same way it was posted the
Oh, I
last time.
see.
So we
Okay,
we
and I know you
postponed it
didn't
last
change?
time, and it stayed at 50.
It has changed
50,000.
from 50 to 20.
Okay, hang on.
So would that meet everyone's approval, or when I would suggest keeping it at 20. I think we can, Mr. Borrego, I think that's a decent amount in order to do the 3 days, is that correct?
I think it's definitely I'm going to say a good part of it for the city of Socorro. We do have additional funding that we use as well. Of course, you know we got to do some in Mexico. We don't do all of it in Mexico, so
Well, that's the
Ina
thing,
handles the
yeah.
Mexican part. But when we take our people to Juarez, that's the only part we use. But I have other funding from the county that we use, from the Texas Humanities that we use. Our budget is about 65,000.
But there's guidelines that we have to follow as a municipality when
Sure.
it comes down to providing funds in a different nation. I don't think that that's allowed, and we can
Sure.
confirm that with legal. But I'm looking at our agenda item, and I don't know if you have a different one. I don't see the $20,000 amount on our agenda.
So Ms. Rodarte said she couldn't change it at the moment, but we had settled on 20, is correct?
Correct, so, I'm sorry, but based on the conversation we had is, the recommendation is because we feel that the time limit is just too short, that we would assist in hosting the event, but Mr. Borrego would be the coordinator of the event, and we would assist. And he did talk about a $20,000 budget, and we also talked about that money wouldn't be directly given to Mr. Borrego. We would be receiving invoices, like if it's for the hall, and we would pay that invoice, just depending on the cost that is occurring and belongs to our entity. Right, that was what was discussed with Mayor.
Correct, yes.
And funding would only be used for things here. And everything's here, so, that we're doing.
I
But
think
you are
that-
correct about the procurement process and the $20,000 and issuing it out. However, if it's not over 50, we don't have to go out to bid. However, I don't know if the 3 different quotes would pertain.
No, I don't think that applies in this situation.
So I would like to approach it in the safest manner possible, and at the same time, give it enough funding for it to be something good, and not something that we're just gonna just throw together at the last minute. But I think that we need to set a not to exceed amount. If funding's gonna be issued out in that form and fashion, where we're gonna get invoiced, we're gonna have to have staff break down the costs, and this council needs to set a not to exceed amount, and if $20,000 is what's been agreed to already, I mean, that's.
And unfortunately, staff wouldn't be able to do that if we're not hosting the event, we're just assisting. So Mr. Borrego would be the one that's gonna be providing a budget. Just because of the time constraints, we have the Harvest Festival, we're going to different trainings these coming months, so it's just a little tight right now.
Normally, the way I do it is I set up line items, and then that's it. And I doubt we'll use the 20, but yeah, I think you should have definitely the limit, no doubt, but whatever it may be. But yeah, I mean, I think every item has to fall within the line items. Every invoice should fall within the line items, and that's the way we do it. It's the way I do the reports and everything for the last 7, 8 years.
Ms. Villalobos?
So my question to you is, I know it's 3-day event. Friday, you have something coming up. What are the hours Friday, Saturday, and Sunday?
So I have I don't know if you all received this packet with the schedule and
No.
exactly everything that's happening.
No,
No?
it was too late. It was too late to put
Yeah,
it
so-
on the agenda and have that as a backup item. So we put the backup item that's on there right now.
Yeah, so Friday it'd be 4 to 7. And then the time that it would start, so it'd probably end around 10. And then Saturday it'd be 9 a.m. to about the same time, 10. And Sunday it'd be 9 a.m. to 2:30. Those are the actual hours. And then the key thing for me on this whole thing is the sister city part of it. The Sister City part of it would be on Saturday as well before the tour on bus. And we've been naming 8 new sister cities. 6 of them, or 5 of them are from Durango, the city of Chihuahua, and let's see, we've got the villages of Doña Ana, it's the village of Doña Ana, but there's a lot of communities that are together, so it would be them as well. And then we're signing Sunland Park, who wasn't here last year, and Macharviaya from Spain, which is also coming in. We did that virtually last year.
Mayor, I had a follow-up question.
I'm sorry?
I had a follow-up question.
Go ahead, Ms. Villalobos.
On those times, the reason I ask is because those are a lot of hours. So you expect people to come in and out, or you expect them to come and stay till the very
We
end?
have a lot of people that are staying here in hotels. We're picking up probably about 70 nights of hotel rooms, from the speakers to other people that are coming in, board members, that kind of stuff. But a lot of people stay here. A lot of people are coming for the conference, and they move from one to the other. When we put the artisans, I don't know if y'all went last year to San Elizario, or you were here the year before here in Socorro when we had the booths. They'll be here again, and they'll be part of the group as well, because they'll all be from out of town. So we have pretty much a manufactured audience automatically, but the key here is the earlier we get it out is to promote it, push it, and get the public out there as well. It's free to the public, so.
So you'll have an agenda?
I have them here, and I can leave them with you if y'all want as well.
Or how it's going to be structured, this way we pick and choose, or what, what interests we have?
Sure. Sure.
Thank you.
I have them right here. I think I have them in the car. I have 2 here.
Mr. Cruz?
So who's hosting? Because the agenda item says discussion and action to approve hosting. Is it the city of Socorro, or we're just funding it?
So that was the original item, which you all postponed, not giving me the opportunity to change. Right, we have to post the same way. After my conversation with Mayor and Mr. Borrego, the decision was that we would pay the society or whatever it is that the city's gonna wanna put in as their.
And that's the confusion, because if the Cultural Heritage Society is the one hosting and within the city limits of Socorro, but Socorro's funding, I feel that we have every right to dictate what the schedule looks like on something like this, for it to be a good thing, because I think that when you invite them to a city and it's our city, whether anything happens and it's good or bad, it's our city, or it's our city's name that's gonna have to be remembered as the good or bad city that the people
my
from
city
Spain-
too,
Yeah, it's
you know?
my and they're like, nah, we went to Socorro. Nah,
It's my city too,
so
Councilman.
yeah.
So he is part of the the Historic Landmarks Committee, and if the possibility exists, he would be the one coordinating the event, because unfortunately, Victor does have some other things to coordinate, like the Harvest Festival and some other things related to the Bracero Farm. So we wouldn't be able to have Victor do both events. That's just.
We can, it's just the timing.
The time.
The timing is a bit, I mean, we're in July. We're
It's
proposing it
happening in
August 24th.
Right. So. Any other questions, comments? You have a comment?
Yes.
Mr. Reyes?
I know we've done this a couple of years, and we like for people to come over and visit the city of Socorro. Last year, Victor did a spectacular event, speakers, food, everything. It was a very well-managed, I'm gonna call it a party. Unfortunately, I don't see a benefit for it, for the city itself, so I'm gonna make a motion to deny.
Well, I have to give up my 2 cents, but I really oppose your denial, because this is for the city of Socorro. It benefits our culture, benefits our people. I mean, there's been vendors that, I mean, Rick himself, it goes out there and he sells beer for us. At many of these events, he benefits in particular. There's other vendors that, that apply and they benefit. There's the cultural aspect, which we're trying to get the UNESCO designation. I don't think many of us know, or many of you know what that is.
I do.
Okay, you do. You do, and that's fantastic. And I believe, I'm sorry?
I think we're all familiar.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even if you are, why would you postpone, why would you deny this? This is for our people. This is our culture. I guess that's, yes, Mr. Cruz.
So the UNESCO designation is ultimately what we're seeking, and with UNESCO designation as a municipality, we're able to seek federal funding at greater levels that we've been able to see. And so I feel that you have to invest a bit so that you can gain access to these funds in the future. What I would like to propose right now, I'd like to amend the motion, and
Well, the motion has to die before we, right, so do we have a second for the denial, and then we can propose another motion?
so you got to take that vote first, right?
Well, do we have a second?
No, do we have a
To deny.
second? Okay, there is no second.
You can make your motion.
So-
You can make the
The
motion.
motion dies. So-
Okay. I would like to amend the motion and approve hosting the Binational History Conference alongside the the Heritage Society in the amount of $15,000, and I think that's very generous, and I think that we can also assist as leaders of this community and through our partnerships with the county. And let's seek funding on behalf of the county as well, because I think they have a bigger pot than we do, and I think that we can make it happen. And so I'd like to propose the $15,000 amount. Do I hear a second?
1.5?
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have a second?
There is no second, motion dies. Do we have another motion?
14.
I make a motion to go ahead and do the 20. And Mr. Borrego, as you can see, the time consuming is a problem. I think next time we do an event, it needs to be brought a lot earlier. We need to have a lot more specifics on it, and let it be a learning experience for everybody here today, and so we can move forward with, because I know everybody's already counting on this. It's not just us. There's many people involved, many companies involved, many cities involved, and I hope council takes that into consideration.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Ruben Reyes,
No.
Cesar Nevares,
No.
Rudy Cruz,
Yes.
and Yvonne Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Mayor,
Yes.
motion passed.
Al, don't let us down, man.
Not even.
Okay.
And I hope to see all of you there, and we'll make it happen. You'll be happy. You'll be happy with that, and hopefully all of you can be there. hopefully all of you can be there for the Sister City signing. I think that's the most important, so you can meet all the other 23 sister cities of Socorro there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Council, appreciate it.
And also in particular, the mayor of Macharra Villaya, which is coming all the way from Spain just to meet us.
Yep, it's true. I'll bring more and leave them, right, for the council. I have them in my car. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
Motion to consent.
Second.
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Rudy Cruz.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia is absent.
Regular agenda, public hearing and ordinances, item number 17. Public hearing of an ordinance approving a proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of all of Tract 1, Block 12, Socorro Grant, located southwest of Alameda Avenue and Scove Road, Socorro, Texas, from A1 agricultural to ICMUD industrial, commercial, mixed-use developments with a variance request to allow for an ICMUD zoning district less than a required 10 acres to allow for the development of industrial commercial buildings. It is 6:58 p.m. Public hearing is now open.
No speakers, Mayor.
No speakers? Would anybody in the audience like to speak on this item? As there are no speakers, public hearing is now closed at 6:59 p.m. Item number 18, second reading and adoption of an ordinance approving a proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of Olive Tract 1, Block 12, Socorro Grant, located southwest of Alameda Avenue and Scove Road, Socorro, Texas, from A1 agricultural to ICMUD industrial, commercial, mixed-use developments with a variance request to allow for an ICMUD zoning district less than the required 10 acres to allow for the development of industrial commercial buildings. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
You have to say to, motion to adopt, motion to,
It's number 18, right?
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, motion to adopt.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion was to,
I'm sorry?
what was the motion?
Motion to adopt.
I didn't hear that, could I hear?
To approve.
We couldn't hear it.
Yeah, motion to adopt, Jim. Approve.
Approve?
Yeah, but just for consistency, I would suggest approve.
Okay.
But it says adoption.
And then second was over here, Mr. Nevares.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Item number 16 is a rezoning request for Stoughton Industrial. The property is located off of Alameda, legal description, Tract 1, Block 12, Socorro Grant. The owner is William D. Scoff Limited Family Partnership and Scoff Family Farms LTD. Representative Robert Patterson, Stoughton Industrial and Trey Engineering, Robert Romero, is here as well to answer any questions on behalf of the representative and applicant. The lot is 5.49 acres in size and currently zoned A1 agricultural. The future land use map designates the area as agricultural. Planning and zoning staff recommends approval of the rezoning and variance request to allow for an ICMUD zoning district in less than the required 10 acres. The Planning and Zoning Commission voted for approval of the rezoning request and the variance at their May 21st, 2024 meeting. The property again is located on off of Alameda Avenue and at the southern end of the city limits. It is zoned A1 agricultural. The Land to the north is our single-family residential. To the east, and south, it is outside of the city limits, so there's no zoning. And to the west is agricultural. These are photographs taken of the property from Skull Road looking over across the Clint Lateral. And the aerial photograph shows the vacant property, as well as the vacant land to the south, east, and west, residential development to the north, and some commercial to the northeast on Alameda. Notification was sent out to property owners within 200 feet of the property. No notices received were either in favor or against. The development is part of a larger project by Stone Industrial to construct 2 industrial buildings. The only portion that is being rezoned is a small triangle that is within the cities of Socorro limits. But the applicant did follow the procedure for the rezoning to ICMUD, which involved the development plan, development schedule, as well as submitting a traffic impact analysis. In summary, the request is for a rezoning of a property from A1 agricultural to ICMUD with a variance request to allow for an ICMUD zoning with less than 10 acres to allow for the development of this industrial development. At the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, though, the development did change, and while the initial plan was for going the wrong way, a small portion of the development to be in the city limits, that has since changed. No buildings will be constructed within the city. That area will be ponding and parking. With that, staff can answer any questions, or as I mentioned, Mr. Romero is also here to answer any questions as well.
Ms. Villalobos?
So that square that you're talking about is for parking and
triangle.
That's
yes.
it, or the triangle. That's it. That's what they're going to use it for. Okay. And so for us to allow the variance of less than 10 acres, will that be enough parking?
That will just be a small part of the larger project. There will be additional parking as well on the other part of the complex.
Alrighty, thank you.
Mr. Cruz?
Yeah, I have a question. Why did they decide to put the parking and ponding in our city, and then in the ICMUD build the buildings? And this is the reason why. Because we're going to approve something here, but I would rather have the building, because you're bringing something good to my city, and I want the tax base. I don't want ponding and parking. Put the parking and ponding in the county and give us the building.
Good evening, council members, mayor. My name is Robert Romero, and we agree with all staff comments. Mr. Cruz, to answer your question, the building is a larger building that does not fit within that small triangle. The property just happens to straddle both jurisdictions, and so the large footprint of the building fits within the county side. There's parking and ponding in both jurisdictions, in county and your jurisdiction. It just happens that we use that triangle more efficiently for parking.
Can you bring up the plan again, so everyone can see it? Who's the engineering firm?
Trey and Associates, TRE. So if you leave it there, this specific conceptual plan shows 2 buildings, but the smaller building to my left, I think it's your left as well, actually straddles the jurisdictional limits, and we can't do that because there are setback requirements for both the county and your jurisdiction. And so for that reason, the building itself is on the larger parcel, which is within the county. So if we go to the slide with the yellow triangle, I think would better represent what I'm trying to say.
The one before it. There.
Yeah, so if you see the just to the southeast of that larger undeveloped parcel, that's where the building's at. And unfortunately, we cannot straddle the property line, which is why we're using it for parking. It's the same development. It's gonna have a perimeter wall around the entire thing, but because we cannot straddle and we need to meet the setbacks, that's why the building is in the larger side.
And if the design was to be like, I guess inverted, or in a form or fashion to where the buildings, the ponding area was to be on the other side, and then the buildings were to be over on the city side. Do we meet setback requirements?
We would not, because the building would straddle the jurisdictional limits.
When you say straddle, that means that it's
It
half
would
half
overlay.
here, half there.
Yeah, and as a matter, and so I need to meet setback requirements with the county. I need to meet setback requirements with your jurisdiction. For that reason, we have to shift the building to either or. And unfortunately, you know, the triangle is very small for the size of the building.
The size of the triangle, what's the square footage of that?
It's about 5 acres. The entire parcel is about 30-ish. So the building itself is gonna be like in the 25-acre area. And so the yellow triangle is only about 5.
So the yellow triangle is 5, but what's the square footage of the building?
Right now, I think it's gonna be somewhere around 300 to 400,000 gross square feet.
And then each acre is how many square feet?
Each acre is 5,000, 4,360, something like that. 43, there you go, 43,560, 43,500. You were close.
This one?
Okay. Just trying to understand the.
Yeah, the building's kind of large. And
Right.
eventually, originally, we had the first conceptual layout, and we were all excited about it. We were gonna put it in both jurisdictions, but then we started looking at the plating, the setback requirements, and we tried to make it work, but we couldn't, sir.
If I may, it's Alameda and what other street?
The one just north, there's a lateral, but it's Scove Road in
It's
Alameda.
Scove Road, right next to Chidos,
Oh,
right? So it's right on Alameda next to Chidos.
no competition, sir.
Any other questions?
Sorry, one more.
Ms. Villalobos?
I believe the warehouse is there, the big, long warehouse and you're right next to it. And then behind it is that development in Clint?
No, so the warehouse is in front of it,
Okay.
further a little bit, what is it, east?
So it's right next to Cheetos, on the same side of Cheetos?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it.
Oh,
I
I
know where
see.
that's at.
Right? Yeah. You see where the warehousing is across the street?
Yes.
The other one.
Okay, thank you.
What's planning and zoning's recommendation?
Approval.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
What was planning and zoning's recommendation?
Oh,
Approval.
Mr. Cruz?
So once the development is finished, what's the identified entrance and exit for the tractor trailers and?
It's off Alameda, which is a state road, and that coordination already took place, so we have set points where that access is gonna be placed along Alameda.
Is there gonna be a decel or TxDOT didn't allow?
I'd have to get back with you with that answer, sir. To be honest, I'm not sure if TxDOT requested it or not.
The reason why I'm saying is because, it's a state highway, although the speed limits are set at 45 and 50. Some of the drivers like to exceed the limit, and then when you have the tractor trailers pulling in at a very slow speed, I'm kind of looking at that. So I was wondering like if TxDOT would allow a decel lane into y'all's property or not?
Yeah, that's a good question. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. We're
Yeah.
always prepared to incorporate one. Sometimes it depends on the physical barriers that are there and what TxDOT wants. I unfortunately don't have that answer with me, but I know that the entrance point is already coordinated with TxDOT and approved. You're welcome.
Mr. Nevares?
Do you know by any chance who you're building this for?
The developer is Stoughton Industrial, and they're a national developer. It's a distribution warehouse, okay. Not heavy manufacturing or anything like that. It's more just distribution.
Okay.
What was the motion on it?
To approve.
To adopt.
To adopt.
To adopt.
Oh, that's right, that took
Second.
5 minutes ago.
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia is absent. Rudy Cruz.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 19, public hearing for the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of Lot 2, Block 1, Horizon subdivision located at 200 Horizon Boulevard, Socorro, Texas, from M1 Light Industrial to C2 General Commercial to allow for a commercial development. It is 7:13 p.m. Public hearing is now open.
No speakers, Mayor.
Are there any speakers here present? As there are no speakers, public hearing is now closed at 7:14 p.m. Item number 20, second reading and adoption for the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of Lot 2, Block 1, Horizon subdivision located at 200 Horizon Boulevard, Socorro, Texas, from M1 Light Industrial to C2 General Commercial to allow for a commercial development. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
To approve.
Second.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Item 20, a rezoning request for 200 Horizon Boulevard. This is the Lot 2, Block 1 Horizon subdivision. Property owner and representative, Horizon Properties LLC, Luis De Stefano. The lot is 0.648 acres in size. It is currently zoned M1 Light Manufacturing. The current use is vacant, and the future land use map for the City of Socorro recommends commercial. Planning and zoning staff recommends approval of the rezoning request, and the Planning and Zoning Commission voted for approval at their June 4th Planning and Zoning meeting. The property is located on Horizon Boulevard, just west of the Mesa drain, middle drain. It is zoned M1 industrial zoning. The zoning to the north is R3 residential and C2 general commercial. The property to the south is R1 single family residential. As I mentioned previously, the middle drain is to the east and to the west is ponding. These are photographs of the property taken from Horizon Boulevard. The aerial photograph shows the vacant lot, the ponding to the west, and the residential vacant lots to the south, and the mix of residential and commercial to the north. Notification was sent to property owners within 200 feet of the applicant property, and no notices were received either in favor or against the request. The site plan shows the commercial strip to the rear of the property, ponding and ample parking for the development. One single entrance from Horizon onto the property. In summary, the request is for a rezoning from M1 to C2 to allow for a commercial development. With that, staff can answer any questions.
Ms. Villalobos?
Do we know what they want to?
A commercial shopping strip. It doesn't state how many individual stores in the shopping strip, but the general idea is for a shopping center.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Ruben Reyes is absent. Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia is absent. Rudy Cruz.
Aye.
And Yvonne Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Item number 21, public hearing for the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of Lot 31, North Loop Acres subdivision located at 612 Hesse Drive, Socorro, Texas, from R1 single-family residential to R2 medium-density residential to allow for multi-family dwelling units. It is 7:18 p.m. Public hearing is now open.
No speakers, Mayor.
No speakers. Would anybody like to speak on this item?
Would we be able to give our points out now?
Yes, sir.
He is representing the applicant. If we would like to wait till after our presentation?
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
As there are no speakers, public hearing is now closed at 7:18 p.m. Item number 22, second reading and adoption for the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro master plan and rezoning of Lot 31, North Loop Acres subdivision located at 612 Hesse Drive, Socorro, Texas, from R1 single-family residential to R2 medium-density residential to allow for multifamily dwelling units. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Item 22, rezoning request of 612 Hesse Drive from R1 residential to R2 single family, from R1 single family residential to R2 medium density residential to allow for multifamily dwelling units. Planning and zoning staff recommended approval of a single duplex to the Planning and Zoning Commission at their June 4th meeting. Planning and Zoning Commission voted for approval of that request. The property is located off of North Loop on Hesse Drive. The properties surrounding the applicant property are all single-family residential. These are photographs taken from Hesse Drive depicting the vacant lot. You can also see the vacant lot in the aerial. The properties surrounding the applicant property are a mix of residential and vacant lots. Notification was sent to property owners within 200 feet of the applicant property. No notices were received at our office, either in favor or against the item. We did have one speaker at the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting speak against the item. Their concerns centered around the additional traffic that development might cause, as well as just not knowing who these properties would be rented to. The site plan was shared with the commission. This is what they had been requesting, 2 duplexes, so 4 units in total. Parking on Hesse, the ponding area to the rear. After discussion, the Planning and Zoning Commission voted for approval of the request from R1 to R2 but to limit it to a single duplex. With that, staff can answer any questions, and representatives for the applicant are present to answer any questions you might have as well.
Questions, comments?
Yeah, I have one question.
Mr. Cruz?
So did staff approve both structures or one?
Just to clarify again, Planning and Zoning's recommendation going into the Planning and Zoning meeting was to approve one duplex.
Meaning one structure?
One structure with 2 units.
Okay. Oh, because there's no revised site plan, that's why. Okay.
Good evening. Yes, and that was, hi, my name is Edwin Morales, and I'm one of the owners. Mr. Abraham Macias, he's joining us via Zoom.
Hello, good afternoon over here. Thank you for having us.
That was the main thing, in order to maximize the space, and not only that, but the tax benefit, you know, the 4 units would be more beneficial for the city of Socorro, not just 2 units. We do have the plan where the traffic is gonna be minimized. You only allowed 1.5 cars per unit. We're gonna have the pounding area, which is gonna be a shareable area as well. This is not our first project. Mr. Macias was actually raised here in Socorro, and I live in Socorro, just behind the church as well. So this is a great opportunity to, you know, develop some of the land and make it more attractive for people to live in here. So with that being said, you know, 4 unit will be much better for everyone. And like I mentioned, the tax benefit as well.
Mayor, may I? Mayor, may I?
Let Jim go first, please, if you don't mind.
I don't pretend to discern what council wishes to do, but my one recommendation to the proposed ordinance, if council is inclined to approve this matter, the proposed ordinance says to permit a duplex. Given the commission's recommendation, if
Revised.
council approves that, I would recommend just a floor amendment to make a duplex 1 duplex.
1 duplex.
Thanks.
We could also maybe revise the plan and maybe meet 1 whole building instead of 4 buildings, as long as it's 4 units. That's something that we can work on with
So we can kind of do a similar, I'd like to add to that plan as well, to Edwin's idea. We're just basing it off of another similar lot in the same vicinity, 10299 Calcuta Drive, which is 2 streets down. That particular lot has about 8 units, and they allow for 1.5 parking space as well, if you guys want to look that up as well. So we'd be abiding by the same rules that they also have abiding for the city of Socorro. So we're trying to kind of be a comparable to them as well, which there are being already established apartment complex. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Cruz?
For the other property? Yes. 10212.
Go ahead and ask your question.
10299.
He's talking to.
Oh,
Mr.
10299.
So I think that where you guys are trying to maximize profitability of the duplexes and putting 4, I feel you can raise rental fees by expanding on the size of the duplex. So I think that it'll ultimately just kind of be a wash. You know, what we were able to collect on 4 smaller units, now I can collect on 2 larger units the same amount. I'm in agreement with the Planning and Zoning Commission, and therefore I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to approve A.
Mr., we have a motion.
Okay, there was a motion for.
If you want to amend it, Mrs. Villalobos.
Go ahead, Ms.
So I revise to go ahead
Amend.
and amend with a 1 duplex unit.
I would say with a floor amendment to the ordinance to change the phrase a duplex to 1 duplex.
What Jim said. Perfect. We can't. I still have my question though.
Go ahead. Mr. Nevares, will you be second?
You still will second it, Mr. Nevares?
Second.
question is for Mrs. Camilo. The square footage of the lot is 11,891. What is the current ordinance for a duplex? Yes, the square footage of the lot.
The 10,000 square feet with the ponding area. Minimum would be 10,000 square feet for
So
the ponding area.
even if we could, or we wanted to, the only thing that the ordinance now, that the way it states, the way we have it for duplexes, could only fit one anyways.
No, that's incorrect. The minimum lot size is at least 10,000 square feet. You don't have the minimum for the building itself or the buildings themselves, just that they meet the required setbacks and the parking and ponding area.
And I want to add to your question about, I guess Calcutta had like 8 units. We don't know under
What condition those-
condition they were approved. We don't know who approved it, when, how far, and things could have been different back then. And you're going to continue to develop here in Socorro, and sometimes that analogy could backfire on you.
Yes.
Okay.
I think when we spoke with Mr. Botello, he mentioned that, I guess, maybe not approved. Maybe there were some units that were not approved in the area, so they don't come through. They just built on it without approval.
Right.
So that could be some of the units that they did on that. But going back to the question, when we looked at the formula with Mr. Botello, we came out that we could build in that area 4.1 units based on the formula they have. I can't recall exactly, but he showed me the formula that they allowed.
Ms. Camilo, I know you want to answer that.
No, it was just that some of these also were developed when the city was not incorporated, so might be under the rules when the area was still under the county.
Wild West.
So also, I wanted to mention one thing that you had said it requires a pond as well.
Yes, and the ponding area is in the rear of the property, to the back.
Where is it? I don't see it. Is this it?
Yeah, it's in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is the street, right?
Yeah, this is the street, parking's right in the front.
Uh-huh. So this is the pond, and it goes right, how can it be the pond?
Yeah, this is the ponding area in the backyard. What we would consider a backyard ponding area. Correct. Ponding is built to the size of the structure, depending on the amount of water that the roof collects.
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia is absent. Rudy Cruz.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item number 23, public hearing for the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of Lot 30 and 32, Block 3, Valle Nuevo, Unit 1, located at 1055 and 1069 Nuevo Hueco Tanks Boulevard, Socorro, Texas, from R2 medium-density residential to C2 general commercial to allow for a commercial development. It is 7:30 p.m. Public hearing is now open. Are there any speakers on this item?
No speakers, Mayor.
Would anybody like to speak on this item? As there are no speakers, public hearing is now closed at 7:31 p.m. Item number 24, second reading and adoption for the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of 30 and 32, Block 3, Valle Nuevo, Unit 1, located at 1055 and 1069 Nuevo Hueco Tanks Boulevard, Socorro, Texas, from R2 medium-density residential to C2 general commercial to allow for a commercial development. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The next item for your consideration is a rezoning request of 1055 and 1069 Nuevo Hueco Tanks Boulevard. The owner is Valle Nuevo LLC, Representative Jorge Escarate with CEA Engineering. The lot size is 2.25 acres and currently zoned R2 medium density residential. It is vacant and the future land use map for the City of Socorro recommends agricultural. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommends approval of the rezoning request, and the Planning and Zoning Commission voted for approval at their June 4th meeting. The property is located within the Valle Nuevo Unit 1 subdivision, just south of Nuevo Hueco Tanks and North Loop. It is zoned R2. The property to the north is zoned R1. The southeast is zoned R2, and M2, to the west, across Nevares. These are photographs taken of the property, showing the vacant land, and you can kind of see the ponding area in between. The aerial image shows the vacant land being proposed for commercial zoning. The land uses around the property, as you can see, the development in this area at this time was beginning to lay out the framework for the residential subdivision that is Valle Nuevo Unit 1, and then the trucking, light commercial, light industrial use to the north and west. Public notice was sent to property owners within 200 feet of the property, and the city staff did not receive any notices either in favor or against the request. Here we show the site plan showing the commercial development and parking, as well as access points from Nuevo Hueco Tanks. With that, staff can answer any questions. And the representative, Jorge Escarate, is here as well to answer any questions.
Ms. Villalobos?
So it's going from an R2, but the future land use,
And that is something that we have to correct as staff. So when we make rezoning changes, and if you'll read the actual language for the item, we are changing the master plan when we ask for a rezoning request. So we should be doing that. The plan that the city has, the maps that this associated with the 2014 comprehensive plan, or just digital. So nobody was really in the practice of updating those maps. And that is something that we will be correcting with our new comprehensive plan. We will have all of those digital maps so we can show you what the land use map is recommending, as well as those changes as we go along. So that's just something that staff hasn't done. We did, or you all voted, to change that when you originally changed the zoning for this property to R2 and C2 for the commercial developments that were established when this larger property was rezoned.
and this is where I'm a little confused, because if you read where it says future land use map, it says agricultural
Yes,
land.
so the original 2014 map showed agricultural land.
Okay.
And that was just the habit of staff to refer back to that 2014 map, which is a static PDF document. That should have been changed, but we don't have or staff didn't have at the time the mechanism to change that.
Okay. All right. So there's some corrections going on here along with.
Along the way, yes.
Along with
We
the
can
zoning
definitely
change.
get into the habit of making that correction when we know the zoning has changed to reflect what action council took.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Cruz?
Can we have the developer representative approach the podium? Hey, good evening, Mr. Escarate.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Jorge Escarate with CA Group for the record.
Just a quick question.
Yes, sir.
I think this is the type of development we like to see. when we changed the R1s to commercial. But can you elaborate a little bit more on what's to come in the future? And maybe there's some non-disclosures that we're not aware of, but maybe what
Right.
type of places are going to move in? to
Right.
this?
So, if you go to the master plan that we had developed back for the Valle Nuevo, this is always proposed to be commercial, to really provide neighborhood commercial services for the area. As you know, this entire area has grown. We're proposing, I think there's about 200 homes in the Valle Nuevo subdivision that just recently finished getting paved about 3 weeks ago. So I think you're gonna start seeing some vertical construction. So really, we don't have an identified user that's gonna go in this. It's just in talking to the builders, you know, and looking at good planning, it's to try to have some neighborhood services in this area, commercial, so that people don't have to leave the commercial, drive across, you know, across North Loop or go up East Lake. If there's something that they can get a service within the area, one, it benefits the city of Socorro because now, you know, one, it's a tax base that is generated within your city, and also people are minimizing their driving commutes just to be able to pick up whatever it is. I mean, whatever services that is going to be proposed in this area.
So it's not a design build, it's
Correct. It's not a design. It's my understanding that he's got some potential people interested. I just can't disclose it, and he hasn't even disclosed it to me. So.
No, I understand. I feel that with the new neighborhood moving in, it'd be nice to get some family restaurants in there or some retail.
Right.
And walking distance, and then not see like the car washes and the lubes and all that.
Well, I can tell you that I know
storage
up there in, I call it Socorro Logistic or Socorro Commercial, which is
On
right
Nuevo
there in the
Hueco,
corner on Nuevo Hueco and North Loop. That area is starting to take shape. I mean, you may not be seeing it, but you know, obviously Wing Daddies was probably one of the first one that took shape a couple years ago, and I think it was one of the busiest in.
It was the top performing in El Paso.
In El Paso, right? in
It
El
is the
Paso
top
County.
performing, yeah.
I know there's, I think, another restaurant popping up. I know Julio's has been interested in those areas. I know there's a gas station that's already forming at the corner. And I know there's another fast food in that area because we're looking at working on some of the site civil in that area. So it's starting to take shape, even though that development happened probably about 3 years ago. It just takes time.
Our police officers are getting tired of churches and Wendy's.
And Wing Daddies.
And Wing Daddies.
But but it just takes time to develop this. Okay. I mean, it's just a matter of time. So,
thank you for answering our questions.
Thank you.
We need a really good, healthy restaurant, like super healthy, everything healthy.
Like a tropical smoothie, those are pretty good, actually.
Well, those are pretty good, but
They
I'm
are
talking
healthy.
about salads that are healthy, you know, soups that are healthy. We don't have that.
Okay. Any other questions, comments?
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia is absent. Rudy Cruz.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Thank you. Item number 27, public hearing of an ordinance approving replat for Haciendas del Valle Unit 2, replat F being lots 9 through 11, Block 1, Haciendas del Valle Unit 2, Socorro, Texas, with a variance for a lot being smaller than 10,000 square feet. It is 7:40 p.m. Public hearing is now open.
No speakers.
No speakers. Would anybody like to speak on this item? Or would you like to speak on the next item when we review the information?
Is the applicant?
Monday? As there are no speakers, public hearing is now closed at 7:41 p.m. Item number 28, second reading and adoption of an ordinance approving replat for Haciendas del Valle Unit 2, replat F being lots 9 through 11, Block 1, Haciendas del Valle, Unit 2, Socorro, Texas, with a variance for a lot being smaller than 10,000 square feet. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
What
We
number
missed
did you read? Mayor?
GECU?
It should be item number 25. We should be in item number 25.
Under 25?
Yeah. 25
Oh,
and
I see.
26.
Oh,
We
I
already
see.
did 25, no?
No, no, no.
we skipped them.
I skipped it, I'm sorry. Let me go back. Item number 25, public hearing of an ordinance approving replat for GCU subdivision Unit 2, replat A, Lot 4A, Block 1, GCU subdivision Unit 2, amending replat and a portion of Lot 2, Block 1, North Loop Commercial Park, replat B, amending subdivision Socorro, Texas. It is 7:42 PM. Public hearing is now open.
No speakers, Mayor.
Would anybody like to speak on this item? As there are no speakers, public hearing is now closed at 7:43 PM. Item number 26, second reading and adoption of an ordinance approving replat for GCU subdivision Unit 2, replat A, Lot 4A, Block 1, GCU subdivision Unit 2, amending replat and a portion of Lot 2, Block 1, North Loop Commercial Park, replat B, amending subdivision Socorro, Texas. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The next item is a replat request for GECU subdivision Unit 2, replat A, located at 10860 North Loop Drive. The owner is PPI North Loop Limited Partnership, Representative Conrad Conde. The area is a total of 1.415 acres in size and currently zoned C2 commercial. Staff recommendation for this request is to approve the replat of GECU subdivision Unit 2, replat A. And the Planning and Zoning Commission voted for approval of the replat at their June 4th meeting. The next slide is a location map showing the property. It is adjacent to the GECU on North Loop, just south of the intersection of North Loop and Horizon Boulevard. The zoning for the property is C2 general commercial. There's a mix of C1 and C2 commercial surrounding the property. These are photographs taken of the property from North Loop, showing the existing GECU building and parking. So the aerial photograph shows that this is an amending plat, replat, combining the two lots where the GECU currently sits and the adjacent parking.
Oh, yeah, now it makes sense.
So the Walgreens, if you're familiar, the Walgreens is toward the top part of the photo of the aerial, and the Peter Piper to the south. This is a image of the original plat for GECU's subdivision Unit 2. The preliminary plat and the replat A for GECU subdivision meets all of their requirements for code, and staff recommends approval of the request. With that, staff can answer any questions.
Ms. Villalobos?
I have two questions. One, what's the purpose of the replat? What are they planning to do with it? And
No,
then-
just unite the two
Just the
property.
two?
Uh-huh.
And when they say variance, why would they need a variance? Of the less than 10,000 square feet?
That's a different item.
Oh,
You're in a
yeah,
different
that was
one.
the.
That's a different item?
Yes.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm already adding to it, I apologize. Okay. They're just uniting it, and they're gonna make more parking.
It is currently parking, so the piece that's being added to the, yes.
So they're just uniting it, there's nothing else to it? Got it, okay.
Will it be paved?
It is currently paved, so the aerial
Oh, the whole
photograph
thing?
shows it a little better, but it's all,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, okay, I see. Any other questions, comments?
I don't think we've had one this easy, that's why we're making it difficult, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia is absent. Rudy Cruz.
Aye.
And Ivan Colombia Lopez.
Yes.
Item number 27, public hearing of an ordinance approving replat for Haciendas del Valle Unit 2, replat F being lots 9 through 11, Block 1, Haciendas del Valle Unit 2, Socorro, Texas, with a variance for a lot being smaller than 10,000 square feet. It is 7:47 PM. Public hearing is now open.
No speakers, Mayor.
As there are no speakers, public hearing is now closed at 7:48 PM. Item number 28, second reading and adoption of an ordinance approving a replat for Haciendas del Valle Unit 2, replat F being lots 9 through 11, Block 1, Haciendas del Valle Unit 2, Socorro, Texas, with a variance for a lot being smaller than 10,000 square feet. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Item 28, Haciendas del Valle, Unit 2, replat F. The property is at 400, 410, and 420 Valle Buena Vida Drive. The property owner is Juan Artalejo, and he is present to answer any questions that council might have. The current zoning is R1, single-family residential. Future land use map for the area recommends single-family residential. Staff recommends approval of the replat and variance request as one of the lots is smaller than the required 10,000 square feet. The Planning and Zoning Commission voted for approval of the replat and variance request at their June 4th meeting. The property is located in between Valle Buena Vida and Valle del Prado Drive. It is zoned R1 residential and surrounded by R1 residential zoning. Photographs of the property show the vacant property and the existing single-family home. And that can also be seen on the aerial. The properties surrounding the applicant properties are a mix of residential and vacant lots. This is part of the Haciendas del Valle subdivision, and initially was 3 lots, and they would like to combine the 3 and separate them out into 6 smaller lots. From your left, the second lot is the one with the existing, which will be the existing home. The third lot from the right, from my left, is the one that is less than 10,000 square feet. It's 9,787. The other lots are between 10,000 and 10,713 square feet. Again, the request is for approval of a replat for Haciendas del Valle Unit 2, replat F. With that, staff can answer any questions, and the applicant is here as well to answer any questions.
Ms. Villalobos?
Just a quick comment. They're all going to be 10,000, except one is just under 10,000, and that's what, you know, a variance is for. I know we've done it before where we've voted on even smaller lots that I don't agree with, but this is the perfect example of why we should say yes to this, because it's really, it's only, what, 200 something square feet less, and the other ones are going to be 10,000.
Between 10,000
right.
and the largest one, 10,731, and that's the one at the very end, and likely because of the misshape, and
Right.
it's not exactly your traditional shape for a
And
lot,
it's because
and
it's
on
an
the corner.
R1, right, because it's an R1. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments?
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia is absent. Rudy Cruz.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Moving on to Grants Department, item number 29, discussion and action to adopt the City of Socorro Economic Recovery Strategic Plan.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Alejandra Valadez, City Development Director. If you recall, we listened to a presentation from Ashendo Strategies earlier today, and so this action is to request a formal adoption of the strategic plan. As I mentioned, this is really a plan that is going to guide a lot of our economic development activities for the next 5 years. We want to thank you all, and we also want to thank the community for providing the input that drove those strategic actions, and of course, Ashendo and the project team for putting the project together, for putting the strategic plan together. We like to say internally that we are small but mighty, and so this plan is a crucial step in helping us to focus our mission and get to some of that work in that plan.
Any questions or comments?
Ruben Reyes is absent. Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia is absent. Rudy Cruz.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to City Manager, item number 31, discussion and action to approve proposed supplemental to the Hewitt Zollers Work Authorization Number 2.1 for the Passmore Shared Use Path in the amount of $59,961.00.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This item is requesting approval to the supplemental Hewitt Solar's Work Authorization Number 2, making it 2.1 for the Passmore Shared Use Path in the amount of $59,961. This adds additional construction management and inspection services to the agreement due to the construction delay for the work in the El Paso County Irrigation District Number 2 right-of-way during the irrigation season. Can answer any questions that you might have.
Questions, comments?
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia is absent. Rudy Cruz.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Item number 32, discussion and action regarding election services contract with the County of El Paso and to authorize the city manager or her designee to execute same.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This item is requesting approval of the election services contract in the amount of $54,858.24 for the November 5th election. Do you all have any questions?
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia is absent. Rudy Cruz.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Item number 33, discussion and action to approve Resolution 798, authorizing appointment of Rose Escobar as CSCI Board Secretary and Jesus Enriquez as CSCI Board Treasurer.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Based on the CSCI bylaws, this item is to authorize a resolution authorizing appointment of Rose Escobar as the CSCI Secretary and Jesus Enriquez as the Board Treasurer per the bylaws. Do you all have any questions?
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia is absent. Rudy Cruz.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes. Thank you.
Mr. Martinez, do we have anything for 35 through 37?
No, ma'am.
Do we have a motion to delete items 35 through 37?
Motion to delete items 35 through 37.
Second.
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia is absent. Rudy Cruz.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Mayor, I would request to, I would ask council to postpone item number 39 to the next city council meeting. We're waiting on El Paso.
Do we have a motion to postpone item number 38?
Motion to postpone item number 38
Second.
Till,
To the next regular council?
till next meeting.
till next meeting.
Regular meeting?
Regular meeting this week.
Second.
Second.
Yes.
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia is absent. Rudy Cruz.
Aye.
And Ivan Colombia Lobos.
Yes.
A motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right.
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia is absent. Rudy Cruz.
Aye.
And Ivan Colombia Lobos.
Yes.
Meeting adjourns at 7:57 PM. Good night.
Goodbye.